Okay, so let's talk about overcoming the myths associated with property investing. We want to make sure that we debunk all of these because no doubt you probably have some of these thoughts in your mind. Think about it, if we never had these thoughts, then we'd all be out wanting to invest in property and build successful property businesses, have a big portfolio and all that good stuff. But a lot of these myths hold people back from getting started. I know that it did to me in the early days, and I had to overcome those myths to see what's truly possible in this game of property investing. So let's talk about overcoming those myths. And I can assure you by the end of this video, when we talk about these, you're going to see that regardless to your current circumstance and situation, you can get started in property. Now, before we get into that, let's talk about a little bit of a results disclaimer here, all right? So the results disclaimer is that if you just watch this content, and I'm talking about the whole video series, and then do nothing with it, then guess what? You're not going to get any results. The only way that you're going to get results is if you take this information, then maybe do a little bit of study around it, take plenty of notes for sure, and then take action. Take action on these things. And if you do that, then chances are you might just get some results, all right? So follow the system designed for you to learn from and then to go out there and apply, and the results will follow. So let's talk about some of the things as well. Now, the first thing I want to address when it comes to property investing is this whole idea of getting rich quick. This ain't no get rich quick scheme, right? I don't know anybody who's got involved in property who's got rich overnight. Now, what I can promise you though is that if you put in the time and effort doing the right things, which we're going to talk about throughout all of these different videos, then you'll probably find that you will not only make money in a relatively short period of time, but you'll start to build long-term wealth as well. Because you shouldn't be looking to be involved in property for a season. This is something that when you start to understand the skills and the strategies and the how-to, that you've got skill sets, understand how to invest, understanding the business principles, that you can go out there and apply this for the rest of your life. This is what's exciting about property, and I always talk about this here, and this is relevant to regardless what the current economy and climate is, because this is another big myth as well. Well, Paul, how do you make money when there's a downward or an upward or a plateauing marketplace? Well, first and foremost, you don't have a property business if it's market cycle dependent. You need to understand what strategies you should apply, what you should be doing when the market's going up, when the market's plateauing, and more importantly, when the market's going down. And this is all the stuff that we're going to be covering throughout these video series. And this is why it's important for you to come with that open mind and start to understand that regardless to the economy, regardless to your own circumstance and situation, if we just overcome these myths that hold people back, then the sky is truly the limit. But this here is about building serious wealth over the long term, having longevity in your property business, in your income generating career that you're looking to go out there and build wealth through property. But more importantly, if you do the things right, you're going to see that you'll get those short-term wins as well. So the first one where we talk about, all these myths, and the one that really is a common question I always get is, Paul, how can you get started, or can you get started with no money? Because let's face it, not everyone starts investing in property with large sums of funds and money just to go out there and start to invest in property. Some people have got, they're fortunate they have got 20,000, 50,000, 100, £500,000 or whatever it may be of funds, of money to go invest. And if that's you, great stuff. That's awesome. That's a bonus, but definitely not a requirement to get started in property. We're going to show you through these video series that if you have money, how to put that to work. Now, if you don't have any money, then guess what? You're in the same boat, the same circumstances I was when I got started in property. And we're going to talk about this. We have one module specifically that we're going to talk about here is how that you can build a serious property portfolio, create wealth through property using none of your own money. So you just need to understand at this point here that not having money is not a disadvantage, it's an advantage, and you're going to see that as we go through. And the more that you start to think about that, you're going to see truly what's really possible in this property game. Because just in short here, there's ways to raise finance, there's ways to structure deals that you're not putting any money of your own down, there's finding the right joint venture partners, there's the ways that you can raise finance and using other people's money. So there's lots of different opportunities. There's advanced strategies that you can control property rather than buying the property, and all of this stuff we'll cover through the video series. So having no money is not something that should hold you back, so keep that in mind. Now, the next one here is that a lot of people start to think is the whole idea, well, Paul, I've got bad credit or I've got poor credit. Well, let's face it, after 2008 in the last recession, who's got good credit these days, okay? Everyone almost, get hit bad through the last recession. And if you have CCJs, you have bankruptcies, you've got negative, impact on your credit, you've got a low credit score, you're not getting the right income for mortgages and all that stuff. None of that actually matters. You're getting declined credit cards and loans, so you're thinking, well, how on earth am I supposed to go and get a mortgage? Well, what you're going to find out as we go through here is that there's other ways of controlling property where you don't have to obtain a mortgage yourself. There's different ways you can structure deals. We're going to talk about this. But more importantly is that when you start to see there's a different game getting played, most people, we traditionally go to the high street bank. We go to the lenders that most people know, the banks. And I'm going to show you as we go through here that that's the last place that you want to go. You don't want to be going to lenders as in the high street banks. They're going to want you to have squeaky clean credit. They're going to want you to have a certain income. If you've got any black marks, then it's game over, no chance. So we're going to show you that there's a different game to be played, and providing you show up to play that game and move in those circles, then regardless to your past credit, you can still get involved in property. There's different ways of doing things, and we're going to be covering that through these video series. So what else we got here? Time is a big thing. A lot of people ask me, well, Paul, I would love to get involved in property, but I've got a full-time job or I've got a full-time business. How on earth am I supposed to find the time to build a property empire as well? Well, again, it's not how many hours that you put in, it's what you put into the hours. We need to remember this. If you think about it, most people, we could find an extra hour a day. Maybe cut back a little bit of the Netflix, binging on the TV series, maybe get up an hour earlier, stay up an hour later, maybe cut out some rubbish. Because let's face it, we're probably wasting an hour or two every single day. So it's about being a little bit more productive, but more importantly, the ideal number is about 10 hours a week. Remember, it's not what you put, it's not how many hours you put in, it's what you put into those hours. And what you're going to learn from this video series here is it's focusing on the right things. It's getting clear, getting the clarity around what you should be focused on, and then having that focus and doing the actions that are relevant to helping you get the results. Think about it. If your goal is to become a full-time property investor or developer, if that's your goal, if that is your goal, you can absolutely do that on 10 hours a week. And that's working like part-time and doing a couple of hours in the evening. Maybe it's early in the morning, maybe it's on your lunch breaks, maybe it's the weekends. Putting the right things into those hours, then over a period of time of between 3 to 6 months, sometimes it might take a little bit longer. For others, it might take a shorter period of time. But when you're doing the right things and you start to see the results coming from building your portfolio, from doing some, buy to flips, or doing some deal trades and a few of the other things we're going to cover through this video series, what you're going to see is that you're going to be hit with choices or options and the decisions that you've got to make, because your income through property investing, through doing property deals, will surpass your current income in your employment, in your job, or in your business. That then gives you the choice or options to decide whether you want to go full-time into property, if that's your goal, or reduce the hours that you're working, or whatever that may be. Go and travel the world and go and follow something, other passion that's not even property related, because property's been able to give you that lifestyle. This is the great thing about property investing. So it's about focusing in on the hours that you've got, doing the right things. Never allow time to be the thing that's going to hold you back. We just need to get a little bit more efficient with how we're spending our time, because one thing is for sure, every single person, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, yourself. Every single person on this planet has got the same amount of minutes and hours on this planet every single day. It's up to you how you fill those and working around life and anything else that's there. Never use that as something to hold you back, but use that as an opportunity to get more efficient so you can get more things done. Now, another one when it comes to debunking one of the biggest myths, a lot of people say, well, Paul, do I need to have some sort of experience here? Do I need to have some sort of degree or whatever that may be? Well, the answer is no, all right? The funny thing is that you don't get experience without actually doing things. If you think about it, I mean, I went to university and got a degree in computers, in IT. And my first job working in IT, everything I learned at university, it was out of date. We're teaching stuff in university of operating systems that were no longer getting used and computers that are no longer getting used. So I'm kind of like, well, why did I go to university for 4 years to get a degree on old knowledge? So the point is where you really get the lessons learned, where you really gain experience is by doing, it's by taking action. And again, through everything that we're going to be covering and a lot of the stuff that we talk about is to give you those real life examples so you can learn from those so that you're better prepared when you go out into the real world to apply all of this stuff. So experience is going to come from you actually doing the work and taking action. Knowledge as well. Now, this was a big thing for me when I was getting started because I had a lot of people around me who would say, well, Paul, what do you know about property investing? What do you know about getting out there and build a portfolio or property developing or any of this stuff? Well, the reality was in the early days, I never had any knowledge. I made lots of mistakes. You don't have to make the same mistakes because you're going to be learning from a lot of the things and a lot of the mistakes that I made, which is going to help you fast track your journey. I mean, arguably, people who go through a property protege program, what's taken me, think about it, took me 5 years from a standing start to go full-time in property. And we've got people through our property protege program doing that in less than 6 months, well within a year. So what took me 5 years, people doing it a fraction of the time. And why is that? It's because they're learning from my mistakes. You're going to learn from my mistakes through this video series. But knowledge, this is the big thing about knowledge. You don't know what you don't know. The fact is that you're here and you're submerged in this content. You're taking the time and making a commitment to watch all of the videos because each video is going to layer on top of the previous video, and all of that together is going to give you a phenomenal formula to go out there and start to apply and make this property game a success for you, whether it's building your wealth, whether it's making some short-term income, whether that's helping you go full-time in property if that's your goal. It's going to help you become financially free if you do this right. That's the whole purpose around this. And knowledge, if you're keeping that inquisitive mind and starting to understand that you are where you are just now, where I live in Glen Eagles, overlooking the golf course, think about it. The reason I don't play golf is because I'm pretty much a poor golfer, right? I'm awful when it comes to golf. But the same applies if I took the time to go and get a coach and I go out and I stand in a driving range and I'm just about to swing the club, he's going to make some corrections to help me perform and help me better my game. And the more that I do that over time, through understanding and the knowledge, I'm going to become a better golfer. I'm going to get more experience by doing this. So knowledge and experience click into, both click together, and you're only going to get those by listening and then get out there and applying it, and understand that you're going to have knowledge gaps. Understand you're not expected to know everything for day one. Another example, when I met my wife 8 years ago, when I was in Costa Rica, and she speaks Spanish. Thankfully, she could speak English as well, but it's taken me many years to learn Spanish. At the early days, I thought I had no hope that I was going to be able to learn another language, but it's just learning and improving each time, making some mistakes and learning from them and growing. And the same applies for property, and it's going to be a fire hose of knowledge coming at you over the next 10 days. So it's going to be quite exciting for you as well. So understand that you don't need to know everything before you take the next step. You're going to get a lot here, then you apply it, you learn as you go along. Now, age is a big one. I'm too young, I'm too old, So from the too young part, You know, we seem to attract a lot more younger people who want to get started in property, and I see that for two reasons. One, because maybe they resonate, because I get started in property at the age of 19 myself, and two, these days and age where you've got YouTube, you've got so much online and social media is just, you know, taken over, that it's much more easily accessible, and I believe that a lot of people are more younger, starting to think a bit more entrepreneurial, starting to think that they want to get out of this system of going to university and get stuck in a job and so forth, and they're looking at other opportunities, which is great. That wasn't quite like that, you know, 10 years ago plus when I get started, so that's the great thing about it. But you should never be looking at an age as a disadvantage, whether you're too young or too old. You're getting started where you're at. Arguably, if you're getting started younger, then you've got an advantage of time. You know, because you can go out there and apply things and, you know, learn from it and grow and so forth. And if you're at the other spectrum, a little bit older, then you're getting started. You know, you're going to have wisdom, you know, on your side and in your favour as well. So don't let age be something that's going to hold you back. Arguably, those who are in the older side, who are in the latter part of their journey, whatever age that may be to you, you just need to think about your past, things that have held you back from taking steps going forward, and not to allow playing it safe to stop you from, you know, moving forward with this new information. Now, another one that I like to address as well, and it's a big myth that we need to debunk, is this whole idea about, well, I'm just not that confident. I'm not sure if I can actually do this. Well, let me just help you here. You know, confidence is not something that someone can just give you, all right? Confidence comes from getting the right understanding and knowledge. You're here, you're learning, and then by applying and understand that you might make a couple of mistakes or not. But the reality is, having the right knowledge and the support that we've put together here in these videos, then it's going to give you a bit more confidence to go out there and take action. And it's all about just getting small wins. If you just get that small little win that might seem so insignificant in the grand scheme of things, this is where your confidence starts to build. And this is what's great about this. Once you do your first deal, your confidence will be peaking. You'll start to get excited. You'll start to see, you know, the belief in yourself and the belief that property could actually be something that can get the things that you're really looking for just by doing that one simple little thing or doing that first deal. However length of time it takes you, but confidence will come in due course, I promise you on that. In the early days, I was the most unconfident person. You know, I found it difficult to network with people and to meet other people. You know, it was very difficult for me, being dyslexic for one. Having to write emails was a stress for me because misspelling things and my punctuation, everything, my grammar was horrible. So I had lots of little things that put me off from actually taking action and doing things. But it was all in my head, and I understood that I just had to put one foot in front of the other and let small little wins build my confidence over time. Now, we talk about the network side of things as well. One of the big things that holds a lot of people back from getting started is their current network. You know, one of my favourite sayings is your network is your net worth. And that also is relevant to who your current social circle is. And we need to be kind of aware of that as well. Because some people, maybe it's family, maybe it's your close friends, maybe it's some work colleagues, they might not like this transition where you're thinking about now getting involved in property and so forth, because it's not the norm. I mean, this is something different when you're looking to go and invest and build wealth. And the reason why a lot of people try and pull you back, which I know what happened to me in the early days of my family and so forth, is because they're like, Paul, you're you. What do you know? And they're trying to protect me, and it's not looking to try and put me off, but they're trying to protect me from going out there into the big bad world, you know, of doing things. We need to understand that those around us are thinking the same. But more importantly, they're acting out of their map of the world, and that's their comfort zone, because you're now stretching out of your comfort zone to go and do something, which ultimately will return on you, increasing your lifestyle, making more money, changing your life, and that's uncomfortable for people around you. So you need to be consciously aware of who you surround yourself with, who you listen to, and more importantly, build a strong network of supportive people that's going to help you in your journey going forward. I don't know about you, but I like to spend my day with positive, upbeat people who are actually going somewhere, who are more supportive than the naysayers who want to hold you back. So keep that in mind. Now, the last myth here that gets a lot of people when it comes to property is, you know, where to start. Paul, there's so many different investment strategies out there. You know, I've looked online, I've got this here or that there. Where do I start? It's like a minefield. Well, first and foremost, we need to choose the path of least resistance. What is your goals? And we're going to talk about this over the coming videos. Is it just to generate additional income? Is it just to build a proper portfolio for your secure pension and your retirement? Is it to replace your income? Is it to go full-time in property and become a full-time property investor or developer? Is it just to, replace your income so you can go and travel the world or pursue another career or go and do another business but use property as the income generator? What could it be for you? It's up to you. What is it for you? Now, with this in mind, I'm going to share with you the path of least resistance. I'm going to share with you the right strategies that you should start with and where your focus should be, because the truth of the matter is, all of these investment strategies, all these things that you've probably been exposed to or aware of, they're all good strategies, some better than others, but you want to build your property business on strong foundations. Some strategies out there are not the best strategies to start with, higher risk, and they come with some disclaimers in terms of things that could go and more likely can go wrong. But everything that I teach is based on solid principles, solid investment strategies to ensure you're going to have a business that's got longevity as well as credibility. So we focus on the right strategies. And in that way, it means we focus our hours that we've got and on the right things that's going to help you achieve your goal. If you think about it, the analogy is, have you ever tried to climb 2 mountains at the one time? Well, of course you haven't, all right? It's just impossible. But the reality is, most people are actually doing that. And how is that possible? Because you're juggling 2 different things at the one time. What you should be thinking about is, okay, let's take on board what Paul is covering, what Paul is sharing, all this information with the right strategy, the path of least resistance, and then treat that as one mountain where you're going to climb to get to the top, plant your flag, and you've achieved the outcome and the goal that you're looking to achieve. And then you can bolt on strategy number 2, 3, and so forth. And this is what we're going to cover over the next videos in this video series here. So you're equipped with the right knowledge, the right focus. It's going to help you get that short-term results. It's going to help you get those outcomes that you're hoping to achieve. So let's talk about some action steps to get the most out of this video. And this is going to be the same theme throughout. Now, rather than just sitting listening here or watching whatever you're doing here, let's put some things on paper here. Let's take the time and summarize some of the thoughts that you've received from my content in this video alone. Because for you to learn and for you to absorb and to make sure that this information is going in and giving you the best possible chance to go out there and apply this, then what I'd recommend you do is summarize, take some notes. What was your biggest take home? What was your biggest insight from this video? And what you maybe write down is, what is some of the things that were previously holding you back? Was it the thought of having time or having poor credit or not having the money? What was it for you? This is the time for you to actually write this stuff down and start to understand that whatever these myths were, whatever you thought previously was holding you back, will no longer hold you back, and you're going to see that to be true as we go through the rest of the videos. So take this time just now to write those down, summarize, and write down your biggest lesson and insight learned from this video, and this is going to really help you just absorb and learn more of the content as we go forward. So I look forward to speaking to you on the next video.